Hello once again, our friends.
Hello there, welcome back.
Yeah, it's just there's been so much to talk about today, honestly.
It's been a very productive day. Very productive.
Extremely. I mean, we the computer hasn't been out of the hands all day, pretty
No,
much.
it hasn't.
And actually it's almost 7:30, and I haven't eaten anything yet.
No, he's good. I'm not so good. I'm pretty naughty. I eat a lot. We don't know why. I just do.
Yeah, all I've had today so far has just been coffee and about 332-ounce things of water.
Yeah, I think about once a year I can do that.
It's not hard for me to go 12 hours. Well, I mean, I think of it as 12 hours because I might have been awake for 12 hours, but really it's like 24 hours. That's not hard at all. Past that, it gets a little bit challenging. But
yep.
Anyway, intermittent fasting is good.
It's super good. But if you're a woman, please do your homework because there's certain times of the month that are more beneficial than others.
Strong earthquakes can be bad.
Oh, very. Ouch.
As we're looking at some shaking in eastern Taiwan, and they felt shaking in Taipei. Now, the USGS is calling it a 6.2. As you can see right off the coast here, it was 28.7 kilometers deep and aftershock of 5.0. I won't say I like, but I found it interesting the way that they worded this. 6.4 is what they're calling it, off the waters off of China's Taiwan.
That is very curious vocabulary.
Yeah. And we also got from the guides that this was not necessarily a natural quake.
No, it is not. It's not natural. That's the first thing that came through was technology.
Technology involved. And again, for those that are new to the channel, how do we word this? We're both very empathic, and we've both been doing meditation and mantras. I mean, all my life I've been doing meditation. And Cindy's very, very gifted from a very, very gifted family of people that are basically very, very intuitive, to say the least, empathic.
This started at around, before I just start really remembering a lot of my invisible friends about age 5.
Well, we were talking about Whoopi Goldberg being sick, right? And there's that famous scene from Ghost where the ghosts are all lined up in her living room. They got numbers taken to see her because they know that she could see them. Well, that's Cindy.
It gets busy. It does take some effort to just keep a lid on it. You have to make boundaries. You have to have rules. That's just the way it is. And everybody is developing these gifts. I mean,
they are developing these gifts.
Yes. It's amazing.
And I was in the bathroom and I was going to start the water for a bath. And I turn around and I watch a towel just jump off the shelf. So I say, "Who's here, Send?" And she says, "Oh, it's one of the little girls." Because, there's many spirits that have not fully gone through what they should be going through, that life review, that are attracted to our energy, and then they come and they hang around. And, that's just one of the things that we're used to. And as I'm saying that, I'm feeling cold. It feels like somebody's here right around us right now.
Well, just talking about certain things calls in energies, and these are all things you got to learn and watch. As you develop your abilities, you need to know how to control them, because just talking about it calls them in.
Yeah, and we've helped a lot on the other side, and you can help people that have passed on.
Yes,
you most definitely can help people that have passed on through prayer and intention, and sending them positive thoughts and energies.
And just talking to them, explaining to them what's going on.
Yeah, because a lot of times they don't understand what's really happening. And there's a lot happening in this world as we see the Fine Dining Ware country unveiling plan to take over Latin America. And this is speaking about Nicaragua in particular, perhaps becoming, part of the economic program. And they are doing a lot of lending of resources and making their friends and laying their groundwork. And, there's been countries in Africa, for instance, that haven't been able to pay back loans. And you know what happens when you don't pay the neighborhood loan shark? Then they come and they take property. They take belongings.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And, this is part of what's going on out there. They're making inroads in the Bahamas. And, it might not be long before they actually have, well, I think they actually do own a port in the Bahamas. When I think about it, they've bought ports all over the globe. And so, the decline of the US and NATO and the rise of the fine dining ware and Russia with others, could trace it back to the BRICS economic group. But it's been in planning for a very, very long time. And yet we see this starving to death, panic in China, as millions are forced inside in that lockdown in that city that we have been talking about for weeks now, Xi'an. And there are people that are saying that they're worried about starving to death. And there have been people that have come out and said that, the situation's really dire there. And we also had an Indian official come out and say, hey, there's a really, really serious problem building as far as being able to feed our people. And these are countries of 1.4 and 1.3 billion people. It's a lot of mouths to feed, especially when you have the lockdown situation and, all the loss of livestock and crops from all the earth changes and the weather WAR-fair that's going on. And it's a reality.
Yeah, there's unfortunately so many things going on that are reshaping the world as we know it right now.
As we see, they are building a bridge across a lake to speed up troop movements near India's military posts. Things are heading to ahead globally. And today, we started out talking about this agreement that these 5 leaders have not to use the most destructive weapons that we know of on the planet, on the planet. And that sounds like wonderful news. Yay, some sanity. But, you always got to look a little deeper into the way that things work with the power structure on this planet. Because in another way, that could be just kind of like saying, so don't be surprised when we go and have a conventional WW hashtag number 3. And we have a presidential hopeful saying that France should leave NATO and partner with Russia. Jean-Luc Mélenchon says leaving NATO bloc would help Paris avoid getting dragged into a new Cold War and maybe an actual hot war. There are a lot of different alliances that might break up. And that reminds me of another quatrain of Nostradamus's, which is kind of interesting because he says France will be attacked on 5 sides. I guess the 4 directions and maybe above.
I would say so. Yep. And in this day and age, there's also stuff below, so you could add one more to that.
Yeah, for their negligence, and he says that many powerful people will be laughed at and derided for what happens. And then we see this: the U.S. could fall to a far-right dictatorship by 2030, and over here it even says perhaps even as early as 2025.
Whoa!
Oh, we're heading into those same years again.
Same numbers keep coming up over and over.
Yeah, there's all these different agendas out there.
Many.
Yes, all these different projects and stuff, and of course, we have the election.
Yeah, you guys got this election part.
2024 is going to be hang on tight, guys. Hang on tight for 2024. And here we are. We are in another. What's that? Is the tea kettle on? Election year as well.
Yep.
Smaller, but still not insignificant. So this is a Canadian political scientist, Thomas Homer Dixon. So he wrote an op-ed postulating that the U.S. is heading towards becoming a far-right dictatorship. Interesting thoughts here. I think a lot of people are thinking something very, very different, actually. And quick-hitting southeast to mid-Atlantic winter storm, nearly 500,000 customers without power. This was a big one. And, the weather, truthfully, has been, it'll give you whiplash. We were absolutely basking in 75 to 82, it seemed like, for weeks in December. Wonderful. Love it, love it, love it. And then, woof, it was like 26, didn't want to give above 28.
Yeah.
Which I can't really complain because we have friends and family up in Kansas and Nebraska, and they're much, much colder than
They
we
are
were.
really cold. Yeah.
And number 46, or maybe not number 46, depending on how you look at things. But anyway, JB stranded on Air Force One after that snowstorm hit. Look at that. That looks frosty out there.
Brr.
I sure hope he brought a lot of
Oh, I know, some extra pins.
pens.
Yeah, some extra pins.
Yes, and actually, oh gosh, I had a dream. I had a dream I was in the White House. And I had a dream that they wanted me to fix the chair that he sits in, and it was all falling apart. And it was like he forgot to put something on that day. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking about that, we see swimming in their own, yes,
Ew.
more than 8 million gallons of sewage shuts all the beaches in California's Long Beach.
Why?
Well, why the red tide? Why all the runoff, into all these different bodies of water that ends up leading to all the toxicity on the planet? It's because they obviously don't seem to, let's just say, CARE.
Right.
Not really, when you get down to it. It's kind of like you have to look at the way this planet runs. And for almost everybody on this planet, it's the only option. It's the only option. Yet the politicians run it like, hey, well, if there's a problem, we could go to plan B and we'll just take off and we'll go to somewhere else. Mm-hmm. It's kind of how they run this place. Kind of like, yeah, well, plan B, yeah, we're out of here anyway. See you later. When you think about it, it shows exactly the mindset. And again, they're very much operating like intergalactic pirates.
Yes, and they don't seem to really care too much about about this area. It's almost like they don't need the resources here very much because they're kind of destroying them.
8.5 million gallons just pouring in. Yeah, that's just another atrocity that we see. Do you know how many ancient sites there are around the globe? And I forget the name of that channel. Cindy might know. Because they were a channel that did a fabulous, like 3 or 4 hour video showing all the signs of ancient mining that is millions of years old.
Oh, yes.
Millions of years old. Ancient mining. And, it's just so damn obvious that this planet was being mined way before we were here. Homo sapiens was here. And it was like 3 hours, so well documented. Mm-hmm. It got millions of views, and then all of a sudden, all the rest of their videos after that got like 200 views.
Yeah, it was so sad. It was like, I don't remember the name, but she was a very good narrator, and it was something about the mystery of history. But she was very good, and she should have had so many more views.
History is constantly being rewritten.
Yes. Constantly,
just like our science is being rewritten. And we have a rare hailstorm. This is in the resort area in Egypt. So if you're heading down there, a popular year-round resort in Hurghada, hit by a rare hailstorm. So, it wasn't a great beach day as we see here. This guy's struggling to just get through the doorway because it's so slippery. Expect the unexpected, guys. That's part of what we have going on in this world. And we have sci-fi types of medical implants that are going to be here soon. It's, of course, things like pacemakers and ear implants, cardiac defibrillators, but a lot more things are going to boggle the mind. And again, this is one small step for mankind's assimilation into the BORG.
I know. It's so unfortunate. My heart just sinks.
This is all about that.
Yeah.
This is all about that. It's all about stopping the ascension and assimilation into the A period I period B period ORG. that's what it is. It's all about that.
Yep. And it's about us being distracted so we don't delve into our own abilities, which we all have these abilities that AI is making a copycat to.
Yeah. And they are coming online big time now, as long as we avoid certain things.
Yes.
That's the key. And this is a spiritual battle. That is true. Absolutely true. Spiritual meaning that it extends just even out of the body into other densities. And, there will be some that are alive now that, very well will more than likely see non-human beings introduced in front of you via our telecommunications, whatever they're going to be looking like in the future, because the technologies that are being integrated into our society are going to start to blow your mind, because these are extraterrestrial, interdimensional technologies that are going to start to be shared with us out in the open more, and they're going to be tempting you to join the BORG.
Yeah. Well, they're going to wow you, and they're going to make you feel like, oh, you just have to have that.
Yeah, and this gets into the other the series of videos that we're going to start to put out, which will definitely upset some people, because a lot of things that we've put our faith in have been so twisted that we are literally in many ways kind of selling our soul to Satan when we think we're doing just the opposite.
Well, yeah, I mean, to question one's own faith is not taken lightly. It's a very big deal. So for people to abandon everything they've learned all of their lives and take on something different is very difficult. And, we want to try to help people make that step into a different understanding of things to help free you.
Absolutely. And truly, if it's based in love, if it's based in compassion, if it's based also in striving to help others.
Yes.
Again, working towards understanding the oneness. That's the key. It's understanding the oneness of everything. Because even the dark ones, as lost as they are, at some time, in some eventuality, and of course this might be hundreds or thousands of incarnations, it could be eons of time. At some point in time, they're going to have to come back to the light. That's the bottom line, and everything will. Although for some, it'll take a very long time, and for others, it might be just around the corner,
right?
If not already. So thank you guys again, as always, for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Do check out Medicinal Foods, the link at the top of every video. Use the coupon code EEA and get a discount. It does support the channel. Do please make sure you are subscribed to both channels and share as much as possible. That's how we're going to change this reality and paradigm. As always, source bless. Namaste.
Namaste.